Hello everyone, this is Kring Talladen. Welcome to this Book Talks video. After a couple of unboxing videos and overcoming some recent challenges, I am finally back with another Book Talks episode. And again, Book Talks is a vlog and blog series where I share stories and lessons from my 10-year experience in the publishing industry. I've been a writer and editor for different books and publications since 2011, and this is some kind of personal celebration and also my way of paying it forward to those who want to listen to this kind of content. Last time we talked about my journey with poetry. Thank you so much to those who watched that video. And now I'm gonna share with you the story behind how and why I became an editor. And basically, that story came from a pain point. Later on, I'll explain what a pain point is and I'll tell you the whole story. But even before that pain point story happened, there were already hints or like foreshadowing events that happened. That was when I was in high school. So I mentioned in my previous vlog that my first formal training in writing was with campus journalism, and the inter-school contests in campus journalism back then had different categories. There's feature writing, news writing, editorial, etc. And then there's actually a category called copy reading and headlining. And when I was in grade school, I remember that my category had always been feature writing. And until high school, the first category that I was assigned to was feature writing. But in high school, I was later on assigned in the copy reading and headlining category. And I think the main reason was that we were two from the same school. So I had another schoolmate from the school paper organization who was also in the feature writing category. And I think what happened was that she won the first place in the first level of the contest. And then I won second place. And then later on, our moderator said that, oh, okay, let's assign you to another category maybe so that we'll have a representative for that. And so that was when I was assigned to the copy reading and headlining category. But who would have thought that, that would be like a teaser to the present? Because since I was assigned to that category, I had to learn the basic universal proofreading marks. And so that's why when I eventually worked professionally as an editor in a textbook publishing company, I didn't start from zero. Like, I already knew the symbols and I just somehow refreshed my memory. Of course, they trained me also, and yeah, it's really amazing. God is really a creator who knows what he's doing, and like the past, present, and future events are somehow connected in our lives. That was really like a beautiful teaser because I remember that I even won a medal for that category in high school. So that was really memorable, and it was like a confirmation that, I'd be doing something similar in the future. And yeah, well, that's what I've been doing for more than 10 years now. And so yeah, that was like, I think the earliest memory of like being editor or proofreader, something like that. But the decision to really become an editor professionally started from a pain point. That's what I mentioned earlier. And again, let me explain what a pain point is. A pain point is actually something I learned from a book writing coach. And she said that we are inspired or motivated to create something out of a painful experience. And this story about my pain point as an editor back then is something that I think I haven't really shared to a lot of people. So I'm thankful for this platform, and I hope that this will inspire also other aspiring editors and who would want to, venture in the publishing industry. And also because remembering the beginnings or remembering how I started personally helps me to get rid of some burnout or whenever I feel like I want to quit something like that. And so that was in 2011. I was in my senior year in college, and my group mates and I were finishing our thesis. So I think it's a requirement for any thesis to be proofread by a professional. So during that time, we were lucky. We were lucky to find a proofreader who was willing to proofread our thesis for free. Of course, back then we thought we were lucky because we were students, and of course we want to save money. We don't want to spend much from our allowances, and so we took the chance. We gave our thesis to that proofreader. When that proofreader was done, our thesis was sent back to us, and then after that we showed it to our professor for checking. And then I think that was the most heartbreaking part for me. I remember being, I felt the pain back then when our professor said, "Ladies, parang hindi na proofread." So that's in Tagalog. So in English, she said, "Ladies, this looks like it was not proofread." And so I was like, oh, because I think I was hurt because I know that my group mates and I really did our best on the thesis. Like, we really poured our hearts and souls and really gave so much effort in writing that, in collaborating for that. But then here comes this editor who just, I don't know. Maybe she's just too busy. But yeah, of course, we forgave that editor. But I think because of that experience, I promised myself that if ever I would become an editor, I wouldn't be like that person. Like, I think, back then I promised that even if I do this for free, I will still do my best. Something like that. So I remember that was my thought back then at an early age, fourth year college. But yeah, long story short, we still finished our thesis. I think I'm not sure. I think among our group mates, I was really the one who was really OC with checking proofreading and checking the formats and everything, something like that. And so eventually, yeah, we finished our thesis. We successfully defended it. And thank God we graduated from college. But I guess that was just like the level 1 pain point story. Because eventually, of course, we finished our thesis. And then eventually we prepared for graduation. So graduation practices, something like that. And so I remember that weeks, I think, before graduation. So we were already, practicing for our graduation, something like that. And then a batchmate, she's Korean. I had a Korean batchmate in college, and she asked me if I want to tutor 2 Korean grade schoolers who were living near our college, and then they needed a tutor back then. And so I thought, wow, yeah, sure. That was my very first part-time job. Memorable. So yeah, weeks before graduation, I accepted that part-time job as the tutor of 2 Korean grade schoolers. And so I would go to their house near our college, and then I think they were with a tutor or a teacher, a guardian, and then that guardian gave me a textbook, a locally published textbook, which I can use to teach the kids. And I think that was really the time that I was bothered. As I was teaching the kids and I was, using that textbook, I noticed a lot of errors on the textbook. I remember really getting bothered because, whenever I scanned the pages, I would see errors. And just like, my thoughts after the thesis thing, here comes another set of thoughts. Back then, I asked myself, how could publishing companies publish textbooks with errors? Were they not concerned about, teaching the wrong things to kids or to students? Something like that. Those were my, my thoughts, my questions back then. And so I think that was really when the fire to become the best editor that I can be reignited, something like that. I guess that was also one of the reasons why one of the first companies that I applied to even before graduation was a textbook publishing company. And what's funny is that I think I didn't even apply as an editor when I first applied to that company. I think I applied as an events organizer because my internship in college was more of, events and marketing. So I thought maybe I was not qualified for the editorial position. But eventually, during the interview, I shared my interests and all that. And then eventually, the HR personnel asked me, "Oh, why not try applying for the editorial position we're offering?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought I was not qualified." Because I think, yeah, I think based on their qualifications, I was not. I mean, I think there was an item or two in their qualifications that didn't fit me back then because yeah, I was only graduating back then. But then the HR person still said that, "Oh, still try." and then yeah, long story short, I was so excited because I was hired as an editorial assistant in that company, and I basically do proofreading of college textbooks. And basically that's it. And the rest is history. So that was 2011, days before graduation. I was already hired in that textbook publishing company. And then right after I graduated, I started working for that textbook publishing company. And I think I wouldn't forget that because, of course, that was where I started. I learned a lot of rules in proofreading and how a book is published. Of course, as a starter editor, I also committed mistakes, and until now, I admit that I still commit mistakes. Of course, I believe that no editor is perfect. All of us commit mistakes, but I think what differentiates one editor from the other is you know, how they try to do their best in what they're doing. So, let me share one example of a mistake that I wouldn't forget that I committed, especially, during my first years as an editor. I remember receiving a memo from my boss, and then she like gave me a note because I think I was given a memo because the book was already in the printing stage, almost printing stage, but then she saw the error that I didn't check. So I think that was the reason why she gave me a memo. And I think, yeah, it's because of the word blonde. So I think what happened there was the word is supposed to be blonde, BLOND, without E, because the sentence pertains to a male person, a male character, or a male person. But I think I wasn't able to check because the spelling that was printed was with E. So yeah, a little bit of a word choice trivia, word choice rule for you guys. So blonde without E is for males, and blonde with E is for females. So please remember that. So yeah, I think I was given a memo, and I think stories like that would make us grow. I really appreciate it when I'm being corrected. So yeah, if you see any errors on my videos or on my blog post, feel free to call my attention. I am very much open to correction. Because I know that when you correct me, I'll be able to learn and grow. Yeah. But I know that not all people are like that, so I'm kind of conscious also when I give when I notice people having errors or corrections. But I think over the years as an editor, I've also learned how to take off my editor hat because um before I have this tendency of even correcting or editing while I'm just reading leisurely or reflectively, something like that. So I eventually learned over the years how to take off my editor hat when when I just want to read leisurely or reflectively, something like that. Because I know that not all publishing companies would have the same level of quality in their work. I mean, even top publishers in the country or top publishers abroad, um, sometimes I would read books from them, and then yeah, sometimes one or two errors I would still see some errors, one or two errors. But yeah, that just means that nobody's really perfect, and we forgive people for committing those mistakes. And again, before I would really be sensitive and cautious with those things, but yeah, eventually I learned to be kinder to people. Also be kinder to myself, because I can't be like editor forever. I mean, I can't be like an editor every minute of my life. So yeah, for me now, especially when I read leisurely and reflectively, I just make sure that I get the message, and I would be able to understand the message of the book that I'm reading. The important thing always is that I get to enjoy what I read, or I was able to get something and learn something and grow with it. I think looking back now, I mean, looking back to my thoughts when I was in college, and of course I give back all the glory to the Lord, because I know this is like a gift that He has given me, that I think I really became the editor that I wanted to be like 11 years ago when I was in college, and when I was the tutor of those two Korean kids. One of the things that I also want to share is about the Chicago Manual of Style. So this is a really thick book. I only got this, I think, last year, or if not last year, this early this year, something like that. So this is the Chicago Manual of Style, and this is, for those who don't know, this is like an industry standard here. Well, based on my experience in the two other publishing companies that I was with before, and then also the current publishing company that I'm with right now, this is like the Bible of editors. And the rules in the Chicago Manual of Style are what most publishing companies would follow. But yeah, there are publishing companies that I'm not sure if they follow this, but yeah, based on experience, this is like the standard, the main reference that we use as editors, the Chicago Manual of Style. And as I said before, no editor is perfect, and I'm not sure if there is already a person who memorized the Chicago Manual of Style from cover to cover. I've been familiar with the Chicago Manual of Style for more than 10 years now, but I admit that I still haven't memorized everything. So from time to time, I check online for the references, or sometimes I open this book. But yeah, since it's really heavy and thick, so I will just check online. Because yeah, there's a website that you can access. But yeah, it's also a good thing to have like a hard copy, and yeah, to have something to open or browse if you need some reference. So if there's anyone watching this who want to be a better editor, and you want to eventually become an editor for a publishing company, and their standard is the Chicago Manual of Style, then might as well study how to edit based on this kind of style. And I also want to share something interesting about my experience as an editor. The green pen, the green pen is memorable for me because editors in my level would use green pen. So green pen in proofreading the actual printed proofs of the books. But yeah, right now we're working from home, so most editing and proofreading work are done online via on PDF. I actually miss using the pen. So I remember using a green pen when I was just starting in proofreading and marking the proofs. And then for the red pen, I think for those years that I'm not using a green pen, I'm using a red pen. These colors are really like editor colors for me, so to speak. So yeah, red and green pens, editor pens. And of course, I would like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank my previous and my current bosses, managers, supervising editors, editorial consultants, and editors-in-chief whom I have worked with ever since, both in work, professional work, and ministry. Yeah, I've learned so much from my experience as an editor, and I believe that I will continue learning as as I open myself to more projects and more opportunities to help in editing and, proofreading books and other materials. And above all, I thank God for all these because I know it's from Him. He's the source of all these gifts and talents. So that's basically my story as an editor. It was born out of really the passion for excellence. The pain points of the past have inspired me to make sure that every book that I work on will be edited well. Of course, nobody's perfect. We still commit mistakes. But above all, the main thing is that we do our best, of course, and then we really make sure that the readers would read a good quality book or material, and they would be able to receive the beautiful message or the important message that we want to impart to them. It is my dream that more writers will also be keen about spelling, grammar, punctuation, the overall style of their writing, because a professional editor might not be available all the time. So it's good to have that skill right where you need it, and especially when you need it the most. And I hope that there will be less and less stories of pain in the future. Amen. Thank you for watching this Book Talks video. If you have any thoughts and questions, feel free to write in the comments. The blog version of this vlog is already published on my website. That's kringtalladen.com. This is actually longer, so I added some more details here. But yeah, if you wanna read the blog version, then you can go to my website. That's kringtalladen.com, and subscribe also to this channel to get updates on the vlog version of the Book Talks series. Thank you once again, and see you on my next Book Talks video.